The eeveelutions tend to be a fan favorite amongst most Pokemon fans, and that's part of the reason why they are considered some of the most popular Pokemon out there. I learned this the hard way with the Glaceon video that there are a lot of diehard eeveelution fans that will get really upset if you mention their beloved eeveelution is a bad Pokemon. Unfortunately, some eeveelutions like Flareon, despite them being so iconic, having pretty cool designs, and most likely being a Pokemon you use when you first played through a Pokemon game, Flareon just might be the worst eeveelution in a competitive setting, even worse than Glaceon. If you guys are unfamiliar, I'm your host PaPaSea, and in this series we take a look at some Pokemon that are bad competitively and discuss why they are bad. Now this isn't a series where I just objectively bash your favorite Pokemon, this is a competitive analysis of the Pokemon, although I'm sure some Flareon lovers just saw the title, didn't watch the video, and are leaving their hate comments right now. But hey, it's not my fault that Flareon isn't a very good Pokemon. We will also rate Flareon on a scale of 1 to 5 based on its offense, defense, versatility, Movepool, and overall viability. If Flareon doesn't excel in any of these categories, then it is deemed to be a bad Pokemon and potentially the worst Pokemon ever. If you guys enjoyed this series and you want to support the channel, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are new, and don't forget to turn notifications on so you don't miss a future upload. You can also leave a comment down below recommending a Pokemon to be seen in the series in the future, but before you do so, please make sure the Pokemon you recommend is a fully evolved Pokemon that is actually a bad Pokemon that has not been featured in the series so far. You can see the full playlist of this series in the description to see what Pokemon have been used so far. To give a brief overview on Flareon, Flareon is a mono fire type Pokemon with the abilities Flash Fire and Guts. Flareon has a stat distribution of 65 in HP, 130 in attack, 60 defense, 95 special attack, 110 special defense, and 65 speed. Flash Fire is a great ability to not only boost your fire type attacks, but to also assist your team for any fire weak Pokemon you could have. Guts is a pretty good ability as well, and you can play Flareon with a Toxic Orb to do more damage, but unfortunately you can't play Flareon with a Flame Orb since it is a fire type Pokemon and cannot be burned from the Flame Orb. The Flame Orb is generally better on Guts Pokemon since you take less overall damage each turn, especially considering how they nerfed Burn in Generation 7. These stats also look pretty decent on paper, considering the fact that 130 attack is pretty high and 95 special attack is usable, and the 110 special defense is a nice addition to take some special hits. Its overall bulk, however, is pretty mediocre, seeing as it has only 65 HP and 60 defense, which isn't the greatest. 65 speed is also pretty low, as you'll be forced to switch out on a lot of faster physical Pokemon, since you won't be able to outspeed them or take many physical hits. Flareon has a pretty awkward move pool as well, with its best physical attacks being Fire Fang, Iron Tail, Superpower, and Flare Blitz. All of these moves have some pretty significant drawback, whether it's low accuracy, recoil, stat drops, or just low base power in the case of Fire Fang. Flareon does have access to Flame Charge though, which is a pretty neat move that is a 50 base power fire move that boosts your speed by 1 stage. This move can help Flareon increase its speed while also getting some damage off on your opponent to help it get a potential sweep. Most eeveelutions though do have questionable offensive move pools and pretty decent support move pools as well, so this really isn't a problem for Flareon itself, it's really just a problem for all of the eeveelutions. Flareon unfortunately was a pretty big casualty of the changes in game mechanics that we have seen since Generation 1, as although it was never considered an amazing Pokemon that fell from grace similar to Tauros, it was a lot better in earlier games, but only got worse with the special attack and special defense split, and then with the physical and special attack split in Generation 4. Now it did get Guts as a hidden ability in Generation 5, which is a pretty good ability, however, it's really not the best ability to have on a Flareon. For the first recommended Flareon set, I have a Flareon with the Leftovers item, Flash Fire ability, Max Attack Adamant, 252 HP as well, with the rest thrown in defense, Flame Charge, Fire Fang, Flare Blitz, and last move, it's pretty interchangeable as it can be Superpower, Return, or even Quick Attack if you really want priority. Flareon really struggles due to this limited coverage as you are walled by Fire types, Ground types, and Water types. I have Leftovers on there as well to help you a little bit with Flare Blitz, but you can change that to Toxic Orb and the Guts ability, or even just Life Orb if you want. You can even drop Flame Charge for some other move and slap on a Choice Band if you want to do even more damage, but then you lose out on the speed from Flame Charge. On the bright side, Flareon does have some pretty good support moves, so you can run something like this. Flareon with the Leftovers, Flash Fire ability, Max HP, Max Special Defense, Careful Nature, Yawn, Curse, Fire Fang, and Wish. This set is essentially designed to function similar to an Umbreon, as Curse does help with the low defenses, and boosting your attacks that helps Fire Fang do even more damage. Which is there to heal you up a little bit, which you can also run Protect with, and Yawn is there to help you set up your curses. There's a lot of things you can change on Flareon if you want to run a more support Flareon, but in my opinion, you're better off just using the offensive Flame Charge set. And with all that out of the way, let's move on to the ratings. For offense, I will give Flareon a rating of 3.5 out of 5, due to the fact that 130 attack is pretty high and 95 special attack is usable to use on a mixed Pokemon. The abilities Guts and Flash Fire are good abilities to help you out offensively as well, however it is lacking in speed and coverage, which is why I can only give it a rating of 3.5. For defense, I will give Flareon a 2.5 out of 5. Flareon isn't the best option for a defensive evolution or defensive Pokemon in general, but it can get the job done in certain situations. You have a pretty good special attack set of 110 as well as good support moves to help it out defensively. The problem is Flareon's HP and physical defense are rather low, which hinders this Pokemon from a defensive standpoint. But like I said earlier, this Pokemon doesn't really seem like it's designed to be defensive, it seems to be more of an offensively designed Pokemon. That tends to be the case with fire types, as you really don't have too many defensive fire type Pokemon in the game. For versatility, I'll give Flareon a 2.5 out of 5. Flareon is a relatively decently versatile Pokemon, as there are a handful of sets it can use. You can go full offensive with Flame Charge, you can go banded, mixed, full special, or even a support set like I mentioned before. Like I said though, it's not the most versatile Pokemon out there, but it does have a few decent options. For Movepool, I'll give Flareon a 2 out of 5. Although Flareon has a pretty decent support Movepool as typical with most evolutions, it is lacking severely from an offensive standpoint, especially considering the fact that it has 130 in attack. Out of all of the evolutions, Flareon seems to have the worst offensive Movepool, which does say a lot because evolutions really don't have the best offensive Movepools. And for viability, I will give Flareon a 1.5 out of 5. Sadly, Flareon just isn't that viable. I couldn't just give it a rating of 1, so that means it's completely unviable, so 1.5 does seem fitting because it can be somewhat usable in some situations. The Movepool is really what holds this Pokemon back the most, as well as the fact that this Pokemon has suffered so much due to the changes in game mechanics from Generation 1. Maybe one day Flareon will get a new ability or a better Movepool to help it out, but for now, it's a mediocre fire type and one of the worst Pokemon in one of the most beloved families. And that is Flareon. Let me know what you think of Flareon in the comments down below for a chance to have your comment featured in the next video, like this comment right here. Personally, I think Flareon is a pretty fun Pokemon to use, and it can be a fun budget pick in a draft league, but outside of that, it is the second worst evolution in my opinion, right in front of Glaceon. If you guys want to see a Pokemon featured in this series, let me know in the comments down below. But before you do so, please check out the full playlist to see what Pokemon have been featured so far. Thank you guys so much for watching, have a good rest of your day, I will see you guys next time, and bye bye.